Happening now, New York's mask mandate is back in less than 24 hours after a judge ruled against it. We speak with our local rep about what's next in the court's fight. And the FBI is now involved in the sheriff's probe into 2 bodies that were found in Chautauqua County last year. We have the latest. Plus, a local solar project moves forward.
Live and on demand, this is WNY News Now.
And thank you for joining us for WNY News Now. I'm Justin Gould. The latest local news is coming up, but first, let's get a check of our weather forecast. Chief Forecaster Dakota Hunter standing by, and yet again, Dakota, it looks like we're battling some snow out there.
Yes, once again, got those snow showers. Wanted to show you the snowfall totals from yesterday and this morning. Another 5 inches in DeWittville. This is on top of what we already had on Monday. 3.7 inches in Cattaraugus and the hills of Cattaraugus County. 3 inches Mayville, Jamestown, 1/2 inch, and also the same thing in Falconer. And First Defense Doppler radar is showing you, yeah, we're still dealing with these little lake effect snow showers, and this is going to remain the case through at least early this afternoon. And because of that, the Weather Service has extended the winter weather advisory until 1 o'clock. So at the top of the hour, this should be going away, along with a winter storm warning for Erie County will also expire at 1 o'clock. So we are still going to hang on to these lake snow showers early in the afternoon, but cuts out later in the day. We may even see some sunshine. We're already starting to see it now here in downtown Jamestown, 13 to 20. So another cold day, but at least the winds will be light. But we've got another shot of Arctic air arriving before a little warm-up arrives. We'll talk about it in detail, that Ultimate Satellite Solutions 7-day forecast later on in the show. Justin?
All right, Dakota, we'll see you then. Those behind the lawsuit against New York's statewide mask mandate say the case isn't specifically about wearing a mask, but rather stopping what they call an overreach of the executive branch. On Monday, a state Supreme Court judge ruled the State Department of Health didn't have the legal authority to implement the mandate, and it was up to the legislature to do so. Then, in less than 24 hours later, an appellate court judge overruled the ruling, allowing the state masking policy to stay in place. On Monday, a state Supreme Court judge ruled that the State Department of Health didn't have the legal authority to implement the mandate, and that it was up to the state legislature to do so. Then, less than 24 hours later, an appellate court judge overruled the ruling, allowing the state's masking rules to stay in place.
A Supreme Court judge who was elected by the people read the Constitution clearly and accurately interpreted the state constitution. This appellate court judge that's appointed by the governor instituted a stay, which now keeps the mask mandate in place.
Borrello, who was among the petitioners against the mandate, says his lawsuit isn't so much about wearing a mask, but rather giving localities the choice to do so. This ranges from private businesses to school districts and mirrors a case that happened in Pennsylvania last year.
I don't think enough attention has been paid to the damage that it's causing to our children, potentially. It's a local level decision. It is not something the state can mandate. That has been proven time and time again.
Governor Kathy Hochul appears to be dug in.
I'm encouraging parents and students to continue doing what they're doing, because the last thing I want to see is a different trend because people gave up on the mask.
As for a timeline to appeal the state's appeal, Borrello says he fears the process will be drawn out.
But she's in no hurry to get this appeal ruled on, which I think is really unfair. And again, it's creating anger, confusion, conflict.
Now, based on legal advice, school districts like Jamestown Public Schools will continue their current practice of requiring masks in schools. In a statement, the district said if they receive new guidelines, they will review and consider any potential changes. One of Chautauqua County's first large-scale solar energy projects is moving forward after the County Industrial Development Agency approved incentives for that development. Known as a payment in lieu of taxes agreement, Deputy County Executive for Economic Development Mark Geis explains the incentives help pave the way for the Connect Gen South Ripley Solar Project. The project, he says, would not be feasible if the property were to be reassessed after construction. This agreement allows tax revenues to remain the same. Now, as part of the deal, over $60 million in increased revenues to localities like the town of Ripley and nearby school districts will be paid out in the project's 30-year lifespan. He tells us even though a state environmental review remains ongoing, the energy company is expected to break ground in early 2023, creating around 220 jobs. The build-out will work to keep the arrays discrete in various locations.
In this case, it's, they're sort of scattered on different properties, so it's not just one big farm. It's here and there with, 8 to 10 property owners occupying about 1,200 acres of panels.
Now, this is not the only solar project in the works here locally. Geist tells us a few dozen projects are planned in various parts of the county. The push for clean energy was launched by New York State with the goal of moving to 70% renewable energy statewide. A 66-year-old man has pled guilty to a 2021 rape in Dunkirk. The Chautauqua County District Attorney's Office announced the plea of third-degree rape on Tuesday. Prosecutors say James Miller was arrested in July 2021 following the alleged crime in May of that year during sentencing. Which will take place at a later date. Miller could face 2 years in state prison and a 10-year post-release supervision. The FBI is now working to help the Chautauqua County Sheriff's Office identify a body that was discovered in the North County last fall. Sheriff Jim Quattrone, in an interview with us yesterday, explained that the federal resources should provide a boost to his investigation into the set of human remains that were found in September along the Rails to Trail path near Woblin Road in the town of Portland. Our Julia Gress with more.
The first set of remains, which is the set of remains that had been there in a shallow grave for an extended period of time, at least a decade, if not several decades. We have sent parts of those remains to the State Police Lab in Albany, as well as some to the FBI lab in Quantico, Virginia. And we are still waiting for a DNA profile so we can follow up on that. And hopefully that once we get that profile, we will be able to make an identification, which would help in the investigation of that case.
Sheriff Jim Quattrone says that the DNA profile will likely take 4 months to create. At this point, he is confident that, according to analysis from the Mercyhurst Forensic Anthropology Department, the body is female, likely Caucasian, and around 5'5" or 5'7". Over time, her remains, he goes on to say, likely became more exposed due to the elements, which is how a hiker found them buried in a shallow grave. After combing the wooded area, investigators at the time found another body, since identified as 50-year-old Marquita Mull from Buffalo.
We've had several potential leads out of Erie County, missing person cases out of Erie County that would match.
Though there is no definitive evidence, the sheriff believes that there is a possibility the two sets of remains are connected, given their close proximity to each other, just 10 yards apart. The sheriff and the county district attorney are working to launch a special unsolved case division to take a closer look at the open cases in the county, like this one.
We're meeting with the district attorney's office to hopefully get a finalization on what a unsolved case squad might look like. We have a couple retired officers, actually from the West Coast, but both live in close proximity to the sheriff's office, and who have had experience with cold cases, unsolved cases, and homicide divisions. And we hopefully will be able to bring them in to work alongside some of our investigators and some retired investigators.
Julia Gress, WNY News Now.
Julia, thank you. The sheriff is hopeful that with a good amount of work, the team can bring closure to the victim's family, a point he highlighted as top priority. As WNY News Now continues, a look at how much money the United Way raised during last year's campaign, which wrapped up yesterday. And later, Congressman Tom Reed is in our region touting benefits of the infrastructure package. Stay with us as WNY News Now will be right back.
With coverage that matters. This is WNY News Now.
EagleZip.com is your local one-stop shop for all of your home and business computer needs. Located on Fluvan Avenue Extension, just outside of Jamestown, EagleZip.com sells and services all brands of desktops and laptops, as well as servers and network equipment for your business. All new computer sales include transferring your data from your old computer plus a 2-year warranty. Call EagleZip.com today.
Stop by EagleZip.com today and let us make computers easy for you.
Home fires occur most often in winter. Keep anything that can catch fire at least 3 feet from heating equipment. And never use an oven to heat your home. Stay in the kitchen when frying, grilling, or broiling food. Turn space heaters off when you leave the room or go to bed. Make sure all vents are clear of snow and ice to allow carbon monoxide to vent outside. Have your furnace, heating system, and chimneys serviced each year by a qualified professional. Learn more at www.usfa.fema.gov.
Brought to you by the Chautauqua Safety Village and the Jamestown Fire Department.
Welcome to Honest John's Pizzeria, where you are the most important customer.
Everything from freshly made subs to the best of pizza and wings, Honest John's has it all.
And don't forget the ice cream!
Order online today or check out our 2 great locations with buffets ready for every appetite.
Don't I have the best job in the world?
You're watching WNY News Now, where coverage comes first.
This year's United Way fundraising campaign is in the books, with the nonprofit group meeting their goal and raising more than $1.3 million. The annual effort kicked off back in September as part of a joint effort with the United Way of Northern Chautauqua County in order to reach a larger audience this year. The group put more of an effort on online fundraising because of public health concerns. However, that did not stop them from getting out. Specifically, during the holidays, volunteers worked the cash registers at the West Ellicott Wegmans, speaking directly with those cashing out, petitioning as part of their scan campaign. Donations from that, officials say, go a very long way. With over 43 programs run by 28 local agencies, they say you probably wouldn't notice everything that ends up getting funding. Some notable groups include the YMCA and Meals on Wheels. And Chautauqua County had recorded its lowest unemployment rate since the late 1990s. That's according to New York State Labor Department data. The unemployment rate is now 3.5% in December. That figure is down nearly 1% from the month before. The DOL says over 49,000 county residents are marked as employed. That's an increase of around 500 when you compare November to December. As for those who are unemployed, the department says around 1,800 people remain jobless. Well, Congressman Tom Reed was in Elmira Heights yesterday as he promoted investments made to improve New York State's rail system. The congressman toured the CFA USA facility and touted how the money from the federal infrastructure bill would not only be a worthwhile investment, but also benefit the community. WENY's Connor Thompson reports.
Proud to be one of the 13 to vote for that bill. The reason why is what you see here right out these windows. It is the workers, it is the employees that are going to ultimately benefit from that investment.
Congressman Reed says investing in infrastructure has been at the top of his list of legislative priorities. And while the bill isn't perfect, in the long term, it will benefit everyone.
But you got a compromise position, which means it's reasonable. And when you see this investment, start to roll out, $65 billion already been given to the states just under the infrastructure bill, you're going to see employees benefit. You're going to see 200 employees here today. I can see that getting up to 500, 600 employees here in the very near future.
Reed also toured the railcar manufacturing facility with executives from CAF USA and said he came away impressed by what he saw.
What I saw was the best of our workers, the best of the people, and just talking to the people on the, you can see the pride that they have. So it's a win-win for everyone, and I'm just proud to have voted yes to make sure that we keep promoting the American worker.
Reed says that the investment will go beyond just rails and transportation, but will improve other necessities in our lives.
And with $65 billion already given to the states, we're going to see more and more of these contracts, not just in rail, but in other transportation areas. Roads being built. We went to the airports. We've been at water facilities. So water, sewer, rail, aviation, all the things that America's infrastructure is in need of.
A portion of the funding in the federal infrastructure bill was designed for mass transit, including modernization and expanding a passenger rail service, such as the rail cars CAF USA makes. Connor Thompson, WENY News.
Connor, thank you. In Harrisburg now, some Pennsylvania lawmakers are expressing their frustration over partisan gridlock in that state's legislature. There were nearly 3,000 bills introduced last year. However, only 100 passed. Of that passed, 20% dedicate or name roads and bridges around the Commonwealth. Some lawmakers are growing frustrations about the partisan gridlock. Longtime Democratic Representative Tony DeLuca called out the legislature's inability to work together for the people of PA. He says the Republican majority is responsible and are falling short.
This is extreme partisanship. It is hurting our legislative process, and it is hurting Pennsylvania and our constituents.
Now, some Republicans, like Representative Clint Allwett, say both parties have some responsibility. That seems to be something the two can agree on, at least. After nearly 40 years in the House, DeLuca tells us both parties must do better. Coming up, some good news for prospective college students about the SAT test. And later, need to get away? Well, you're not alone. We check in with a travel agency in our region who are busy as ever as the snow continues to fall. We'll be right back with a full look at that weather forecast. Stay with us.
You're watching WNY News Now, your source for breaking news.
I'm a survivor. I'm a survivor. I'm a survivor.
Testicular cancer is the leading form of cancer in men aged 15 to 35.
1 in 250 men will be diagnosed with testicular cancer.
But 98% will survive if detected early.
As a survivor, I believe early detection is the key. Learn how to do a testicular self-exam and other important facts about testicular cancer at oneball4tc.com.
There's an old saying, there's no news in the newsroom. Well, it's true. The time I spend at the anchor desk is just part of my day. Most of our time is spent gathering stories in the community, stories that matter to you. We can't do it alone, and we need your help. When you see breaking news or have a news tip we should know about, drop us a line on Facebook today, email our news desk, or call our newsroom at 488-7226 so we can bring those stories straight back to you.
With coverage that matters, this is WNY News Now.
Fast, accurate, and everyday. First Defense Weather.
Do I want to get away? Yes. All right. Let's take a look at the Lakeside Park Sky Cam, and we do have some snow falling in Mayville again. This is lake effect snow, and we are still going to be dealing with these lake effect snow bands as we go through the early part of the afternoon hours. 10 inches of snow on the ground at the airport right now, 26 inches of snow so far this month. That's a little more than an inch above average by about 1.3 inches there by the averages there. 54.9 for the season. We're still running a few inches below normal for snowfall for the season as we run right now, and we finally were able to get another shot of the ice coverage on Lake Erie from the modest satellite. All of this you see right here is ice. It's mostly confined to the western end of the lake, but the Lake Erie right now is 44.9% covered. We'll round it off to 45%, and you can still see all this wide open area space on the eastern end on our end here, and notice some of these little dots here. Those are lake effect clouds. So again, isn't it amazing what these high resolution satellites can show you? And speaking of high resolution, we have a brand new HD News Now cam. How about this? It is much higher resolution. It is much wider. It is a fantastic camera. So we got to say thanks to our engineering team for coming up with this camera. And Erie News Now, of course, will be taking this camera as well, who's our partners as well. 17 as a noon hour right now. A light wind, but even with a light wind, that still produces a wind chill index. And there is some light snow falling at the airport, so the visibility there is down to under a quarter mile right now at the airport. So let's give you right into First Defense Doppler and show you where the snow is falling. Again, this is kind of this little straggling lake effect that we're still dealing with right now. But as we go through the afternoon hours, this is ultimately going to cut out, and we aren't going to see much in the way of snow as we go through the later part of the afternoon. Here's why that lake snow is still straggling, front moving on through, but notice there's a low pressure area right over our region that is continuing to pump in colder air, which is continuing to produce These lake effect snow bands, feature scan picks up on them quite well, but notice through the afternoon hours, our wind direction starts to shift more to the south. That'll push this lake snow further to the north and ultimately fizzle out as we go through the later part of the afternoon. Quiet tonight, partly cloudy, but it turns much colder through the overnight hours. The valleys will likely go sub-zero by tomorrow morning. Much of the day tomorrow should be dry, but we will start to see more scattered snow showers arriving by the time we go into the later part of Thursday. And then Friday, we'll see a few more snow showers arriving with a clipper system arriving once again. Now, as we hinted, there could be some warmer air on the way as we head into early next week. The 6 to 10 day temperature outlook from the Climate Prediction Center does favor slightly warmer temperatures returning by early next week. So we could see some snow melt to that snowpack as well. Teens will do it today across much of the area. Lake snow cuts out with some limited sunshine. Now the next 7 days of your life are coming up on the screen, powered by Ultimate Satellite Solutions. Partly sunny for much of the day tomorrow. Light snow showers on Friday. We start Saturday likely around 0 here in the city. Only 12 for the high, but at least some sunshine will make it look and feel a little bit better. More clouds Sunday. There you see the temperatures going up into early next week. We'll get close to 40 next Tuesday, Justin.
Hey, we'll take it. Early spring, maybe?
I'm not answering that.
Thank you, Dakota. Pfizer and BioNTech have begun a clinical trial for an Omicron-specific COVID-19 vaccine. The companies say they're studying the safety, tolerability, and level of immune response in 1,400 healthy adults ages 18 to 55. Some patients will be getting the vaccine as both a primary and booster dose. Despite the new clinical trial, Pfizer doesn't expect production of the original vaccine to be affected. They still plan to produce 4 billion doses this year. Pfizer also emphasized that people who have already been boosted have a high level of protection against the variant. And no more number 2 pencils. The College Board has announced the SAT is shifting to an online format. The standardized college entrance exam is going digital for American students in 2024 and international students in 2023. It will still take place in a proctored setting, but students have to bring their own computers. If they don't have one, College Board can give one for the day. The changed format shortens the test from 3 hours to 2. The College Board group says new exams will use adaptive learning to help reduce students' time answering questions that are too easy or too hard. Students will also get their results back within days. That compared to weeks with the previous format. And the Biden administration is defending its economic track record. This as financial markets plummet due to concerns about the Federal Reserve's plan to fight inflation. But the White House says the president doesn't measure the economy by what's happening on Wall Street.
We focus on the trends in the economy, not any one day and any single indicator. Unlike his predecessor, the president does not look at the stock market as a means by which to judge the economy.
Now, the Dow plunged as much as 1,100 points Monday and dropped for a 7th day in the row. Market turmoil has been fueled largely part by concerns of the Federal's planning interest rate hike to cool off inflation, along with the rising concerns about tension between Russia and Ukraine, which could impact oil and natural gas prices. Well, staying in D.C., high school students there are calling on their school district to change some of their COVID policies in the classroom. Some are saying the policies have been too lax, and they're not the only students fighting for change. Our Washington, D.C. correspondent Rachel Knapp reports about students who held a walkout yesterday.
During the school day, a handful of Banneker Academic High School students in Washington, D.C. were spotted outside the classroom. But there's a reason for that. There was a district-wide walkout among D.C. students, concerned about the district's COVID policies in the classroom.
The purpose of this walkout is to kind of not only criticize the way that DCPS has handled the situation with in-school learning, but also to bring awareness over the fact that this directly affects us.
They say with the surge of the Omicron variant, which has heavily impacted DC, they want to see some COVID policies change.
Some of the goals including just more testing for students, especially with the amount of COVID cases in DC in general, especially in DCPS, and the lack of transparency within those tests and the reporting of it. Also, more hybrid learning aspects for students that feel unsafe.
So we want deep cleaning in the schools, only about
10% of us get tested a week, and like that's not a lot of us. We also want like all of us to get tested, or like if they can do all of us, a great number of us, so that we could all make sure that like nobody has the virus, and if they do, like how they could like not spread it to anyone else.
This walkout follows another student walkout in neighboring Montgomery County, Maryland last week. Students also felt there were inadequate COVID mitigation measures and demanded more flexibility for remote learning. And also happening in neighboring Virginia. Several school districts, including Arlington and Alexandria, recently sued Governor Glenn Youngkin for his executive order allowing masks to be optional rather than mandatory in public schools. These D.C. students say they deserve the safest conditions when it comes to COVID, and their health should not be compromised for education.
I feel like if our goals met, it would make me feel a lot more safe and a bunch of students a lot more safe in school.
In Washington, D.C., Rachel Knapp reporting.
With coverage that matters, this is WNY News Now.
Remember when you were a kid, huddled around the television waiting for your school to close? Well, we don't get snow days. When winter weather hits, count on the First Defense Weather Team for a look into the future where the snow is headed next. Live radar showing you the scope of the storm, and real-time reports from the field. So when it matters most, stay with First Defense Weather.
Catch your First Defense forecast daily on WNY News Now.
I know what you're thinking. I need a job. I need a new career.
Well, I've been there.
I've been there.
I've been there. I wasn't happy with what I was doing. After high school, I didn't have a plan.
I just wanted to start working. I got laid off twice, but you gotta keep going.
You just need the right skills. Find an apprenticeship.
I found a 2-year IT program.
I found a medical course online.
I'm now a consultant in the tech space.
You have more options than you think. You can do this. You will find something.
You will find something new.
You're watching WNY News Now, where coverage comes first.
Well, skiers, they seem to like these weather conditions, but others might not be fond of the cold and snow, prompting some to leave it behind. For a while, in many cases. As Erie News Now's Elspeth Meisner reports, travel agents in our region are busy this time of year as people flock to warmer weather.
I've been in the business 38 years, so I've rolled through 9/11. You know, this is just another thing we're going to have to roll through.
After working in the travel industry for decades,
Like I said, you came to the right place.
and Denny is busy once again, booking trips for people looking to escape the cold.
We have a lot of family vacations. People have been, away from family for almost 2 years now, and now that they have gotten vaccinated and they can all be together, we're doing a lot of family vacations.
After nearly 2 years in a pandemic, Denny says people are feeling more comfortable and willing to go the distance for some much-needed R&R.
They're saying, I'm vaccinated, I'm going. No, the Omicron has not affected one iota.
But with COVID-19 still on the minds of many, Denny says more and more people are buying travel insurance due to the pandemic.
I have not sold a trip that did not include cancellation insurance. 99.9% of the things I book has insurance included.
And Denny says if the stress of booking flights, making arrangements, and setting up hotels is too much stress for you, then maybe going with a travel agent could be the better fit.
And Denny's advice to anybody on the fence about traveling near or far is to book the trip.
You work to vacation. Yes, we have to pay our bills, but everybody likes to have a day off, and everybody likes to, go see something new or, be a little adventurous. And I always say you work to vacation.
Elspeth Meisner, Erie News Now.
You work to vacation. That one sticks with me. Let us know what you guys think about this at WNY News Now on all forms of social media. I'm ready to get away. We've been delaying a family vacay for quite a while because of COVID, and we have it scheduled for end of May. And I can't wait for that. I don't know about you, Dakota.
Excuse me.
It'd be somewhere nice to just get away.
Hello, operator. I would like to go to Acapulco.
We should send you somewhere tropical. Maybe like the Virgin Islands. You could go down there and do a couple weather forecasts or something.
Sure.
Why not? Why not? Let us know if you plan to get away anytime soon, because the snow, it's just, it's here. And I know we all sign up for it, right? We live in Western New York. This is the place for snow. But it does get tiring every time.
Yeah, especially when it just comes like all at once. It's just like,
God.
please stop.
Yes, please. Whatever you do, don't stop with the news. It's 24/7 at WNYNewsNow.com. Have a great day. We're back tomorrow.